All right, guys, welcome to Say Less Round 13 Tips. Tips, that's what you seem to be watching every week, so hope you're excited for this week. It is a shortened round because of Origin, lots of teams with the buys, but yeah, it's still going to be some good games starting on Thursday night this week. Lots of ins and outs. For the Dolphins and the Dragons. Obviously, extended reserves list at the moment, but looking at um looking at the Dolphins ins, Edric Lee, Mark Nichols, the goat, and Valence Tafare back on the extended reserves. So hopefully he gets a run. I think they look better with him playing in the centers as opposed to Brenko Lee. Now Brenko Lee's experienced. Obviously Wayne likes him. I just think Tafare just sort of you saw him in his debut game and like what he brought. Oh, actually, sorry, he's on the interchange at the moment. So yeah, obviously you're going to come on. Mason Teague as well, young superstar for the Dolphins. The more game time he gets, the better he's going to be. Ins for the Dragons. Billy Burns, Jack Bird comes back. Max Feeney. Villami Fafita, Zane Musgrove back in. Obviously, Ben Hunt out with for Origin. Blake Laurie, Jaden Sewer injuries. So yeah, even obviously Zach Lomax. Moses Sully had a good game last week as well. I forgot to mention that in my round view. Jaden Sullivan into the 7 for a full game. Jacob Little back number 9, where he should be for the Dragons. Marshall King been absolutely huge for the Dolphins. That's where I'm sort of stuck with who I'm going to choose for this week. Jack Bird into the second row, line up against Kenny Bromwich, Connolly Lemuelu. He's been absolutely fantastic this year. Ray Stone at lock, Jack DeBellin's going to be captain, and Ben Murdoch Masilla, Mozambique, Toby Couchman, Jaden Hunt, and Josh Kerr on the bench. Dolphins bench, Jared Wallace, Mark Nichols, Mason Teague, and Valence Tafare. Wow, this looks like a great game. The Dragons are on the up because of their victory against the Roosters last week. You know, Ryan Carr comes in. I mean, this one's a very, very hard pick. It's actually back at the Dolphins' sort of home stadium, which is KO Stadium in Redcliffe. Um, yeah, wow. Probably should have had a bit more thought on this before I sort of started going. But hey, geez, that is a tough one. Dragons are out Ben Hunt. Obviously, Kafusi's out suspended. Hammer and Gilbert are in the Origin team as well. Ah, um, Cody Nikorima to fullback. That's a big brave play by Bennett. Um, look, I honestly, this is too close to call. I'm going to go for the Dolphins because they're at home, and they're coached by Wayne Bennett. So I think he would. I think he would have sort of watched how the Dragons played last week, and I think him and his staff would have done their homework. Yeah, I think Dragons were on the up last week, but I think Dolphins. I mean, sitting in sixth spot, I think they get the win. Second game, Friday night game, Eels versus Cowboys. Now, Cowboys just got absolutely pumped by the Tigers. Eels beat who were the ladder leaders, South. It just seems like a very easy sort of pick here. Eels to get the win, but as we've said every week, with anyone can beat anyone. Um, Obviously, got some players that are in Origin. Junior Barlow for the Eels, Murray Tuolagi, Ruben Cotter, Tom Dearden, Val Holmes for Queensland out of the Cowboys. Cowboys have lost more, obviously. Obviously, Andrew Davies injured. Jake Arthur has been sold to Manly, and Ryan Madison's out. I'm guessing injured. Um, lots of Could be some absolute. Oh, just so many ins. Obviously, both teams have big extended benches as it's only Wednesday. Jason Tamalolo on extended bench. He may or may not play this week. Mitch Dunn as well. Dejan Arce, Hayes Dunster, Isaac Lumi, who started the season on the wing for the Eels. So he may get a start. I thought he was really good. I thought he was unlucky to be dropped after the first round or two. Lucas Moretti on the interchange bench for the Eels. Um, Apparently, really, really good player. Joe Offengowie comes straight from the Tigers and straight into the front row for the Eels. Like, if that's not a sign of respect, like, I dare say he will probably start on the bench. I think it's just sort of gonna see how the week of training goes. I mean, it is officially only today, and they're playing Friday. I just think like they'll sort of obviously see how he fits in and understands the plays, but yeah, that's a weird one for me. I don't think he'll start, but like, what the hell do I know? Moses Brown against Chad Townsend and Ben Hampton comes in for the six. I think Hampton's a good player, and I think he's unlucky not to be playing first grade for some team in the NRL. I think he's versatile. He could play pretty much anywhere in the back line. But yeah, I think Benny Hampton's decent. I think he was in the Storm system a few years back. Um, Peter Hiku on the I thought been playing well. I think he's very underrated. And Robert Derby is apparently going to debut on the wing for the Cowboys. Yeah, lots of like look. It seems too easy, but lots of outs for the Cowboys. Yeah, I think the Eels get this one. I think this is where the Eels sort of they've been very look, they've been very up and down all year, but I think this is when they get the two in a row. On to the next game. Warriors after the bye last week. Feeling fresh up against the Broncos. Broncos obviously losing heaps of stars that they to Origin, but it looks like they're getting Adam Reynolds back this week, which is massive. I think the Broncos can't win the competition without Reynolds. He's just too important to the team. In saying that, like, would you, if you could see that a team is very dependent on their seven, just run traffic at him. You've got some big boys in the Warriors team, or just keep running at Reynolds. I mean, Reynolds is a tough defender. He will keep tackling, but if you're tiring out your seven, bit of fatigue, not making the best what do you call it, best decisions in attack. Yeah. Who's out? Well, here's the out. So Dylan Walker, Wade Egan, both injured for the Warriors. I think Wade Egan's been one of the best for the Warriors all year. Paddy Carrigan, Origin, Payne Haas, Origin, Reece Walsh, Origin, Selwyn Cobbo, Origin, Thomas Flegler, Origin. So five outs, all to Origin. It looks like Tristan Saylor has been named at fullback, the son of Wendell Saylor, one of the all-time greats for the Broncos. We're lining up against across from Charles Klogstad for the Warriors. Um, Dean Mariner, he's played before, lining up against Montoya. Metcalf is into the side in the sixth jersey to play alongside Sean Johnson against Ezra Mam and Adam Reynolds. Now, oh, Metcalf, he's been out injured, played last week in the New South Wales Cup. Um, yeah, he's a lot of talent, and Sean Johnson's been on fire this year up against Reynolds and Mam. That is absolutely huge. A few massive outs in the forwards for the Broncos. You know, and then coming up against players like Adam Fanua Blake, Bunty Afoa, Jackson Ford, Nia Corey, Tohu Harris. Like the Broncos front row especially has been absolutely depleted. Kobe Hetherington playing in lock. Looking at the benches, look, I am taking even the extended reserves. Like, wow, it's just talent. I'm taking the Warriors over the Broncos. I think it's a massive upset, but I'm taking the Warriors at home in Napier, McLean Park. Yeah, Warriors to get the win over the Broncos. Wow, I think it'll still be tight, but yeah, On to the Saturday game, Rabbitohs Raiders. Once again, another team with a fair few outs with Origin, Murray, Arrow, and Mitchell all out for Origin. Outs for Raiders, Elliot Whitehead, Hudson Young, Origin, James Schiller, Elliot Whitehead suspended or injured. Um, Blake Taff starting at one. Now, obviously, he had a fair few games last year at the one. Just in the team. I think this is sort of why he's there and to prove himself as a first grader, whether he moves on to another team next year, because he's never getting the number one away from Latrell. So he can prove himself, maybe put himself on the market. Sebastian Chris has been absolutely huge for the Raiders at fullback. Jared Croker playing as captain, just absolutely love Jared Croker. I want him to get 300 games. I think this is 299. Yeah, want him to hit some point scoring records. Like, I don't think he'll ever catch Cameron Smith, but I want him to get up there. Campbell Graham, named for New South Wales, pulls out with a sternum injury, is named for South. I guess he just didn't want to waste his time sitting on the bench as 18th man when he could be playing for his team and heading towards a premiership this year. Tane Milne, really, really hitting form. Tomoko and Rapana for the Raiders, been great. Jack Whiten against Cody Walker. Lockie Ilias, Jamal Fogarty, Tavita Tola, I reckon has probably been the best front rower this year. Had a couple of injuries, but has come back up against Big Papa. Damien Cook, Zach Wolford. Zach Wolford is a fantastic dummy half. Wow, this is going to be a great game. I have, oh, a dead set. I think Hudson Young is obviously a huge loss through Origin and Elliot Whitehead through injury or suspension. But just wow, I want to lean towards South, but obviously there's a bit more there's a, there's if you're missing Mitchell, Cameron Murray, Jai Arrow, Mitchell and Murray alone, Jai Arrow is good, but like the Raiders are just are missing two. Where are we playing? We're playing in Sydney at a core. Look, I'm I'm gonna go the up. Am I gonna go the upset? I'm gonna go the upset. I'm absolutely gonna go the upset, and I am going to pick the Raiders to beat the Rabbits. I know, huge, but like I said, anything this year, anything at all. Final game for the round: Knights versus Seagulls. Wow, let's go straight to the outs again. Frizzell is out, pick for New South Wales, and I think he was very lucky. Outs for the Manly Seagulls, the whole Tavoyevich family: Ben, Jake, Tom, Daly Cherry Evans playing Origin. Sorry, Kalen Ponga is back at fullback. Peo Weeks in at fullback. Obviously this kid's got talent. You want to bring him through. Start him on a wing. Like, come on. Like, you have like Ruben Garrick covered for Tom. Like, whenever he's out, like just play. Why won't Seabold play Garrick at fullback? Like, he's absolutely fantastic. Like, he's solid at bringing the ball back. Like, anyway, like, I just think maybe if they're getting pumped by the Knights, I think you're going to see that change late in the game. Yeah, like, look at the Knights back five: Tonga, Young, Gagai, Bradman, Bess, and Marzu. Like, that's absolute talent. You look at Manly's Weeks, Saab, Parker, uh, Pula, who is fantastic. I think he's fantastic, and Ruben Garrick. I think obviously the Knights have the upper hand there. Look at the halves. Hastings and Gamble, I think, are exactly what the Knights need in their halves, and I think they're going to both steer the team around. You got a crafty half who's great kicking, talking, guiding the troops around. You got a big bodied half and six at Gamble. Absolutely, just chat, just talk. Like, up against Schuster, who's sort of potentially a great player. Cooper Johns come through the Melbourne system. Are they going to give him the keys to run the team? I think they should. I think he's ready. Um, I think the Knights have the upper hand there. So, we're looking at the back seven now. The Knights are the upper hand. You go to the front row, you got the Daniel Saifidi, Taniela Paseka going up against each other. Croker, Crossland, Leo Thompson, Soft Sifley. Back row, Jack Johns, Lachlan Fitzgibbon, Adam Elliott against Olakwatu, Samuel Afenu, and Sean Kepi playing the lock. That's a big call. I probably would have. I guess you got Top Sifley in front row, so maybe he's ready. I think Manly in the forwards have the upper hand there. I think they absolutely flog the Knights. So that'll get the young halves on the front foot. Look at the bench. You got Lockie Miller playing 14. Had his worst game last week. Been solid all year. You're going to put Ponga back to back to one. You've got to put him somewhere. Start him on the bench. Who knows who you're gonna take off to put him in? You're not going to take your halves off. Yeah, where is Lockie Miller? You're not going to take Ponga off. Where are you gonna put him? Are you going to put him take Mazu Young? Like, are you going to have him playing hooker? You're going to take him off and run him in second row? That's a weird one. Uh, Jacob Saifidi, Jack Hetherington, Matt Croker. Like, it's a decent bench. Looking at Manly's bench, Tui Pilotu, which I think was absolutely fantastic playing on the wing. Yeah, while Jason Saab was injured, I would have him. I would have him in the team every week outside Cooler or Parker. What I think why he's on the bench is if KO Weeks doesn't do too well, or maybe they'll move KO Weeks and give Lachlan Croker a rest. Although Croker is playing as captain this week, which Croker's an awesome player. Like, he's just a guy you want in your team. Carl Lawton's also there, kind of come on playing in the hooker role. Ethan Bullimore is just absolutely every run he takes is huge. And Ben Condon, one first touch try scorer last week. Um, wow, that is yeah. I'm just wow. Like, I'm just going to take this down to the halves, and I'm going to go with the Knights, and not really convincingly. I think it's going to be tight. This was the game that was the draw earlier in the year. Knights at home. I'm gonna just tip the Knights. I reckon it could be a golden point game here. So yeah, Knights to get the victory in the last game. Kings with the bye, Bulldogs, Panthers, Roosters, Sharks, Storm, Titans, and Tigers, all with a 2-point bye. Origin next week. I'll try and get an Origin podcast up and going, working on it. But hey, please like and subscribe. Mate, absolutely stoked with everyone who's watching my videos. Yeah, soon I'll be putting them out on Instagram, Say Less Footy podcast on Instagram, and soon to come with a TikTok. So stay tuned. Yeah, enjoy the footy. Say less. Peace out.